Hey everyone, Bruce Morris from the TABB Group here. Welcome to TabbFORUM's Market Structure Wave. This week, TabbFORUM and Transactional Strategies are partnering once again to produce our annual Women in Digital Assets Forum. This event will be a half day of educational content and networking opportunities, all focused on the developing trends in the institutional digital assets market, and more importantly, how women can be successful in this growing marketplace. Today, we are very fortunate to have one of our event speakers, Hillary Conley, Head of Business Development for the Americas from Talos, join us on Market Structure Wave. Hi, Hillary. Welcome to TabbFORUM.
Hi, Bruce. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, our pleasure. So, Hillary, can you get us started today by sharing a little bit about your professional background and how Talos fits into the digital asset ecosystem?
Yeah, of course. Happy to. So I am the head of business development in the Americas at Talos. Talos is a global provider of institutional grade technology for digital asset trading and portfolio management. Our platform supports the full investment lifecycle. So anywhere from market connectivity to execution to portfolio and risk management, clearing and settlement, we cover that entire kind of end-to-end lifecycle. We service clients both on the buy and sell side. So asset managers, hedge funds, banks, broker dealers, and the like, anybody that kind of fits into the institutional category, we service on the platform. And we operate globally. So we have clients in the Americas, EMEA, APAC, and we're integrated with over 80 plus liquidity venues, custodians, prime brokers, and other service providers. So if you're plugged into a venue in this space, it's very likely that Talos provides connectivity to that venue as well. A little bit about myself. I started my career in traditional finance, kind of like most folks at Talos as well. I was at a small bank, and then I spent a number of years at Bloomberg, focused on both sales and a stint in marketing. I moved over to crypto, it seems like way back in 2017 now, almost 8 years ago, where I was one of the early employees at Gemini Exchange. I spent 5 years at Gemini in institutional business development, focusing mostly on hedge funds and market-making firms. And then I joined Talos in 2022. So here at Talos, I'm focused mostly on generating new revenue lines for the business and finding strategic areas of growth for the firm.
Well, that sounds like a great journey. So, Hillary, during the conference, you're going to be participating on our Envisioning a Smarter Digital Assets Future panel. What are some of the trends that you're seeing in the digital asset space?
Yeah, it's a great question. And maybe I'll kind of take it, back to when I started in the space in 2017 and what I saw then. And then we can kind of end with where we are now and how Talos is kind of servicing those clients. So back in 2017, institutions were just starting to kind of experiment with crypto. We were seeing early stage hedge funds and prop shops mainly, kind of dipping their toes into the water and mostly interacting with retail platforms or homegrown tools that they curated themselves. Market infrastructure in the space was certainly fragmented and also immature, and there was high operational risk. So very few safeguards, limited transparency. Basically a major gap between TradFi, infrastructure standards and expectations and what was actually available in crypto for these firms to interact with. So what's changed? Where are we now? Institutional involvement, in my opinion, is no longer looking like it's just exploratory. It's definitely committed and it's definitely scaling. We're seeing pretty traditional firms, very large asset managers, managing trillions of dollars of AUM come into the space, bulge bracket banks come into the space, both building dedicated, digital asset strategy teams and in some cases desks. And expectations have definitely shifted, right? So the expectations for these firms coming into the space are that they can operate with full stack infrastructure, and there are compliance and operational controls available to them in the space to interact with. So the space is professionalizing very, very, very quickly. Talos is enabling these institutions by providing them with real institutional grade infrastructure, right? So we are bridging that gap from what the expectations are from a traditional finance perspective to what the reality is in the crypto space. Our key offerings along those lines include execution and order management systems, very deep connectivity across liquidity venues, which is very important. Post-trade tooling, so a full stack settlement, risk reporting tools. And we've really built this from the ground up for institutional workflows. We have, our team comes from these backgrounds. They built these systems in traditional finance. They know what the expectations are. So we're super excited because we're not only now supporting, the established players who have been in the digital asset space for a long time now, but we are also supporting and enabling new entrants that are launching and really giving them the institutional standards from day one that they expect and allowing them to get up to speed very quickly, right? So, yeah, I mean, if I had to conclude, this is no longer kind of what when institutions will enter, I should say. I think they're already here and there's more coming. And we're helping to drive that shift by really giving these firms the tooling they need to scale in the space.
Oh, that's good. Sounds great. So taking the next step, what's next for Talos?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think that the ethos here and kind of what we all kind of can get behind is that we are headed towards a world where pretty much every asset will eventually become a digital asset in some format. So we're focused on staying super close to that shift and really keeping an eye on what our clients actually need, what they're asking for, where the market's going, and making sure that we have the right tools in our toolkit, or we're building those tools to support the evolution of that shift. I personally think it's less about kind of predicting the future, which is very, very hard, but more about making sure that we're building the infrastructure and have the infrastructure in place that's adaptable to a world that is kind of in perpetual motion and constant change.
Perfect. Well, Hillary, thanks so much for your time and sharing all of your insights with Tab Forum today. And to all our viewers, I'd like to thank you for stopping by for what was hopefully an educational and an entertaining ride on Tab Forum's Market Structure Wave. Hey, thanks again, Hillary.
Thanks for having me, Bruce.